Yes, hello friends, don't stop thinking about tomorrow and welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Ian. I hope you're doing well, mate. Genuinely really do hope the season's nearly done, so you won't have to watch this football from Chelsea for much longer, but stuff's changing and we are growing for the better. Touch wood, fingers crossed and all. Chelsea will trim fat, of course. We'll lose all these players that are on bloated wages, that their heads are elsewhere, that they're not part of the future plans. But we will also need some key signings. Of course, Mauricio Pochettino will be the Chelsea manager. He's sort of waiting in the wings while Frank Lampard sees out the season, and apparently Pochettino is managing Soccer Aid. Hopefully he's spending a lot of time analysing what's going on at Chelsea as well, which you'd almost certainly assume, well, he will be, essentially. We're going to go for a lot today. There's a lot of news stories breaking on Monday morning. Stuff about Rice, Mount, Lukaku, Lautaro, Martinez. So, yes, thank you for joining me. Make sure you're comfortable. It's always important to be comfortable. If you do want to support the content, drop a like. You're welcome to subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. And if you enjoy Chelsea news generally, I'm delighted to inform you this video is brought to you by OneFootball. It's totally free, which I always feel is an important thing to start off with when talking about OneFootball, because everything costs in this world, doesn't it? But OneFootball is totally free. It's the best football news companion app that gives you everything you need to know about football, and you can obviously follow Chelsea and get everything, loads of news stories really early, as well as match stats and updates and everything. Click the link in the top of the description to check out OneFootball. It's free, and it helps the channel just clicking on the link. So do consider doing that. All right, baby girl. Where should we start? Let's start in midfield, because there's a gaping chasm in our midfield. Enzo Fernandez looking very frustrated. That actually made headlines in itself this morning. Enzo finally, at the end of this season, he's been here a few months now since the January transfer window. He's starting to look frustrated and angry. And I can kind of get it, because he wants to play football. Dude was playing really well in Liga NOS. He's won the World Cup and was integral to that. And he's just come back to absolute nonsense, stinky nonsense in Chelsea. And, you keep your head down, you're making friends, and you're new to the place, you don't want to start demanding stuff. But it did not take long for Breda to get annoyed, frustrated, and upset. Just hope that when we rebuild around Enzo, that his anger and frustrations will be relieved. David Ornstein writes in his column today, he talks about Arsenal wanting to bolster their midfield, and they speak about West Ham captain Declan Rice, whose contract is a year left, plus one option to run by 12 months. We'll talk about Declan Rice more in just a moment. They also want to add creativity in a more advanced position, and that has fueled the pursuit of Mason Mount. Now, Mason Mount isn't like a playmaker for my money. He's more of sort of like a hard-working, kind of direct number 8, but it's more of an offensive threat. I think offensive threat and creativity are different. Like, creativity is like, in theory, Joao Felix. Creativity is Cesc Fabregas. Mason Mount, you can sort of play him anywhere in the midfield and work hard and press and counter press and get assists and goals, but he'll run towards the goal and he'll cause issues. He's more direct, I think, than creative, like offensively direct. Although there's strong competition for Mason Mount from Liverpool and Manchester United, while Chelsea will make one final push to try and extend it. Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United, all brawling and fighting for our player, Mason Mount, because they're like, oh my God, Chelsea are idiots. And they'll just say to Mount, what's your wage demands? And he'll say, and they'll go, all right, we'll pay you. All three of those clubs are like what Chelsea used to be. And in fact, Liverpool and Arsenal paid less than what Chelsea used to pay. I know United have always paid silly wages and will continue to do so. But Chelsea, with this new structure that I endorse, by the way, generally as a structure to run the club forward, maybe with exceptions. These exceptions will be, no, not just English Cobham lads. It will be like N'Golo Kante would be an exception, because he's just an elite World Cup winner. That's maybe leaving the prime, but he still deserves, while he can be N'Golo Kante on the pitch, he still deserves. He just shouldn't get paid 90k a week like Mudryk, basically. He should get paid, maybe not, what was he on before? 300 or something. Give him 200k a week. Give Mount 200k a week. Do you know what I mean? Arsenal ruddy well will. Even Liverpool, we don't pay silly money. And you can bet your bottom dollar Manchester United will pay Mason Mount that and above. They'll pay him what they give Sancho or something, like pushing 300k a week. So every day I try and take deep breaths and endure what my club Chelsea is doing to me currently. And this will be a real tough one. Not because, if Mason Mount was going to buy Munich, if Tuchel buys Mason Mount, say, look, we can't find an agreement, he wants too much money, he loves Chelsea, but it's just not going to work with these owners. All right, and he goes to Bayern Munich, I'll be like, that sucks. Tuchel, by the way, might lose the title for the first time in like a decade with Bayern Munich, which is not a good look for Thomas Tuchel. But let's just say Mason Mount goes over there. I'd go, oh, that's a shame, but whatever. But him going to Liverpool, Arsenal, or United to play for 8 years or 6 years and be really, really good for them and win trophies, I will absolutely hate, and that will forevermore be a stain on our club. That way worse than Declan Rice, because we released Declan Rice when he was 14, and to West Ham. Do you know what I mean? But Mason Mount is a Champions League winner. He's a Champions League winner, England international, and we're going to give him to one of our rivals. Absolutely sickening. Unless we can extend him. Anyway, let me know what you think about that. I did look on Cy Phillips's Twitter for an aggregation of sport, and I found something quite interesting. He's quoting a London First aggregation Twitter account, and they're talking about Declan Rice. And he confirms this is correct, and I think Cy Phillips has got good information. So they're speaking about Chelsea's midfield options. We are scouting in Portugal. We are looking at, of course, Manuel Ugarte and Gonçalo Ramos. Good player. Benfica player. Benfica and Sporting players, respectively, playing in midfield. Todd Boehly, or the new ownership group, they're really obsessed with the Portuguese league. Obviously, we got Enzo Fernandez. Yes, we played through the nose for him, but he is ultimately an excellent player, so I'm happy he's in the squad, and we got him from a Portuguese club. But they're seemingly obsessed to continue to do so they're looking at these guys. Look, if they are right for the club, then they are right for the club. I don't have, Ugarte looks good defensively. I haven't looked close enough at Ramos. If the, story heats up, we will look at that a little bit more. But if this is the right profile of midfielder to partner Enzo, it's good enough for me, So Chelsea scouts have finished scouting Romeo Lavia for this season. We've been scouting him for a long time. Of course, the connection with Joe Shields, who's one of our recruitment fellas in the office. He brought him Lavia to Southampton from Manchester City's academy, of course. He'd cost a lot of money now. Although, actually, maybe he'd not, because Southampton are, of course, relegated. But the Chelsea scouts noticed some deficiencies in the latter part of his scouting this season. So Lavia is still on the shortlist with those two players playing in Liga NOS. So, but the thing that Cy Phillips confirmed is the first choice on the list, top of the tree, the unanimous choice. So this is every single person involved with every inclinations, whether it's board, scouting, people, recruitment. The unanimous choice was Declan Rice. So everyone at Chelsea wanted to sign Declan Rice and agreed that he was the best choice for this role, to partner Enzo Fernandez for the long term. But things have happened behind the scenes that didn't go down very well with him and his family. How has Chelsea fumbled the bag this much? Maybe he's what have we done to upset his family? And I found this a salient or notable point because it's been confirmed by someone who I think's got good information. Not they both have good information in these pages, by all accounts, and we've upset his family as well as him. Is that by not giving Mason Mount the contract? We know they're best buds, so maybe it's like, you're not going to give Mason the contract. You've upset me and my family. I don't know, man. Look, you know, again, I could give or take Declan Rice. It would be frustrating to see him go to Arsenal and play well and be like, you know, such a key figure for them for 8 years when he's a self-proclaimed Chelsea fan. You know, he's on the overlap recently, or relatively recently, with Gary Neville saying, yeah, I'm a Chelsea fan. I love Chelsea. You know, everyone knows it. I'm a massive Chelsea fan. And we're making him go to Arsenal because we've upset him and his family, despite him being the perfect profile to partner Enzo Fernandez. Let me know what you think about that. We've got a couple more stories, so let's move on. Just a quick one here, an update from transfer guru Fabrizio Romano, citing CEO Marotta, of course, the guy from Inter. He said this regarding our second record signing. Lukaku loves Inter. He wants to stay with us. He feels very good here. And to be honest, I can believe that. He's in form again. We know he's like Milano, Milano, Milano. He loves it. Negotiations with Chelsea? Question mark? He's on loan till June the 30th, and then we still don't know Chelsea's plans. We're waiting for that. And he said that on radio. Look, yeah. There's been big talks about Lukaku having a talk with Pochettino. If Pochettino has some peculiar desire to just somehow work with Lukaku, like, it'd have to be a profound, deep, and burning desire for him to be like, look, I know you don't want to be here, but let me try and convince you at least. I don't think that's going to happen. You know, Inter have just reached the Champions League final. That represents success in isolation. Lukaku was a part of that. They will probably want to keep him. You know, the CEO saying he's happy here, he's doing well, and he is unique in many ways, and they play transitional football, and he works really well. He seems to be getting in better shape. He seems to be recovering from the emotional fallout from the World Cup. It makes sense that he stays there. So what do we do for a striker? Well, as he's also confirmed, we haven't put a bid in for Dusan Vlahovic, but he is on the list. Of course, we spoke about Vlahovic before. Again, if the story heats up on Vlahovic, we will look a little bit closer and talk about how he'd play with Chelsea. But I just want to reference an article from Football Insider that speak about, of course, another Inter striker that Chelsea are linked with, and that is Lautaro Martinez. £69.5 million, which seems actually a bit more like reasonable. Obviously, they sold Lukaku for 100 million essentially, but Lukaku was like 27, 28. Lautaro is 25. He is, of course, a World Cup winner, a Scudetto winner. He hasn't won the MVP like Lukaku, but he's in scintillating form. So for 69.5 million, if there's any wiggle room on that as well, you know, regarding Lukaku, maybe there is a deal to be done there. Of course, we're heavily linked. He's another Argentine player, and of course, with Mauricio Pochettino being from Argentina and loving, you know, the Enzo link and all that, it wouldn't surprise me about Lautaro. I have concerns about him, but, you know, I had concerns about Thiago Silva, and I've looked like a mug ever since. So, I'm not sure he's like conducive to coming to Premier League football and scoring a bunch of goals. But at this point, considering how deep we are in these stinky trenches, and boy, we're deep, you've got to just give the keys to Pochettino, recognise he is a passionate, good coach, and say, oh my God, help us, oh my God, do what you want. And there's an opportunity for him to, you know, basically sign who he wants, and if he thinks Lautaro Martinez is the one, he is the one. And under 70 million, and with them wanting Lukaku would be sad that his little striker partner would go. But Martinez is said to want to come to the Premier League, to a project in the Premier League, which essentially means I would like to come and be paid lots of money. Like, that's what that means. That is what that means. Trust me. Chelsea will give him, I don't know what we'll give him. I mean, maybe we'll break this wage structure for the idea of premium of goals. Maybe we'll give him the basic salary, but say, look, if you score goals in the Premier League, you will make serious moolah. I've referenced it before. Hot dog, I'm going to reference it again. Harry Kane's Tottenham contract, he earns so much money, but his basic isn't that much. It's because he just consistently scores a lot of goals. He's consistently making a lot of money. That is how Chelsea need to handle certainly their striker contracts. And one would have to speculate we'd look to do that. incentive-based contract, which has been referenced by The Athletic and other, news publications. So that would make sense. So ultimately, if you score goals, you could make a lot of money at Chelsea. Of course, alternatively, should Manchester United sign him, who are also looking for a striker, they would just give him 300k a week. And they have European football to offer. Probably Champions League, actually. They just need one more point in 2 games. And one of those games is against us. So congratulations, Manchester United, for making the Champions League. I'm dead inside. Anyway, what do you think about Lautaro Martinez? I'm very, very interested to get the collective opinion. Comment on all the stories I've referenced down below. Thank you for liking. You're welcome to subscribe. And do go check out OneFootball by clicking the link in the top of the description. Alright guys, see you very soon. Peace.